And welcome to the Midday Show. We are back. Facebook is causing us issues. Facebook does not love us now. They changed their algorithm. They switched some stuff up. I have some Epstein news for you that I didn't tell. I just happened to remember that just now because I was keeping you abreast on the Maxwell case and the Jeffrey Epstein case.
Did you think about that because the Unabomber was found dead in his cell?
You know what? I don't know a lot about the Unabomber. That's like kind of a gap for me. How old were you when that was like a thing?
No, they made a reference to it in Good Will Hunting. That's like the biggest.
So, but you were alive during.
Oh yeah. It had to be. It was early '90s, wasn't it?
You just found out also the I-95 bridge collapse.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Which is
just
shocking.
Like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a action-packed weekend. I mean, Ted's not. I didn't know he's still alive, and it's.
We're going to tell me about Ted.
And then I was so rudely interrupted.
By Dylan Rockoff.
Harvard educated.
Yes.
Taught, I think, mathematics.
Okay.
Taught something,
I knew Harvard. I didn't know mathematics.
At Cal.
Okay.
Or something. Like, he was an incredibly smart guy and then just went off the grid. And went out and lived in the wilderness and started building bombs out of spare parts and mailing around the country.
Interesting. Did anything ever actually...
Oh, he killed... How many people did he kill? 20? Yeah, I think he sent like 16 bombs. I don't know how many of them actually got to like where they were going, got detonated before they got.
How old were you when this was happening?
I had to be like, I think it was early '90s, so I was probably in college.
Okay.
It was either late high school or college.
No, that makes sense because then when I was going through school, it's not like it would have been in books or in it. Like it wouldn't have been part of the curriculum about the.
No, it was. Yeah, it was. And then there was the Oklahoma City bombing, but that was different.
I remember
that wasn't him. But yeah, what was just crazy about it was obviously you have to be smart to build bombs because you can't.
It's difficult.
But he was such an intellectual guy, and just kind of went like anti-society, and something snapped because he figured the best way to alleviate the problem is to go move out in the wilderness and try to blow everything up. But he did. In one of the explosions, I think there's 23 people killed or something like that. He really did some damage.
Okay. So you didn't see any news because I-95, the bridge collapsed in Philadelphia. Huge deal. Because you can't, well, in my understanding, I mean, imagine trying to get around that city. It's not just the people in Philadelphia. It's the people actually trying to bypass Philadelphia is what it would be more complicated for. Because someone was like, what are the people in Philadelphia going to do? And I'm like, the people in Philadelphia are going to do what they always did. It's the people trying to get like from one side of Philly to the other that it's going to really, really affect.
Yes. And you understand what it's like in small town America when there's an accident on the bridge and people have to relook. So just imagine when you've got, 100 times the traffic or 10,000 times or whatever the traffic difference is.
Brutal.
And people are like, oh, you just got to get off here and you got to take the side roads. Well, the locals can figure that out, but the other people can't. And yeah, the long-term effects of for beach towns and places like that people are just like right now, if I had a trip planned to, I wouldn't go.
You'd have to go around I-95.
You'd have to go somewhere way different. And there's people that are just like, I'm not going.
And then I was telling you, too, the other side, as of yesterday, was closed because they're afraid that side might be weakened as well. So you can't even divert traffic to go opposite of each other on one side.
Right.
It's really, really rough. There was, have you seen the UFO stuff, too? We're just going to fly through
stuff
I saw this weekend. UFO stuff in Las Vegas, Nevada.
That someone said there was a 9-foot. I saw the headline.
Police call.
You will be proud of me. I did not click on that one.
Okay.
I saw the clickbait and I did not go for it.
Police call, Las Vegas, 9-foot human. They said big eyes. Did you listen to it?
I just said a 9-foot non-human is in my backyard.
So first of all, there's video from, I believe it's a cop car. There's video of like lights before the call is made. I saw that. Which that's kind of like, okay, but the description is not, first of all, way too calm as he's on the phone. I mean, maybe you're just so enamored by what just happened that you just don't even realize it. Way too calm as he's making the phone call. then his description is so he used human elements to describe it, which to me is not how you would struggle to describe something you've never seen before. No. But he was like, well,
no, I get your point.
It has really wide eyes and all stuff. And I'm like, everything he's describing is a human characteristic.
Describing something as having wide eyes is not like difficult.
But I think that's the point. I mean, like, okay, if you saw something that you had never seen before, the first thing I would tell you, I'd be like, I saw this thing and it had 7 spikes growing out of it. Like, I wouldn't start with the things that I am used to seeing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Maybe, I guess. I that's a good point. Wouldn't you film it? If you're on your phone?
There is video of the family in the backyard. I didn't see anything, but I don't buy it.
So the family went into the yard then?
Oh, yeah. There's like film of like a brown fence and they go through it and they're like talking and pointing. Mm-hmm.
Is this like the next day?
I think it's that night. It's dark out in the video.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I am not doing. If I see a 9-foot non-human creature in my backyard with wide eyes, I'm not leaving the house.
That's true too. The other part too, the person who took the phone call, the operator, the 911 dispatcher, professional to a T, because she did not laugh. She did not panic. Like, you think of all the things you would do if you either didn't believe or believe what the person was telling you. She was very professional, handled her business. Shout out to the person who took that phone call. That'd be a difficult phone call. Don't you think so?
You think?
To be a 911 dispatcher and someone's calling you about a 9-foot human being that they believe is an alien.
Yeah,
that's a tough phone call. Because here's the thing: the moment you laugh, you're kind of not doing your job anymore.
They're probably 911 dispatchers probably get random tests, like we're testing you to make sure. So they probably thought it was a supervisor.
That's true.
It's like you got to hold it together because.
Have you seen the 911 dispatch when kids call in and the dispatcher's like trying to, like, a kid will ask for help with their homework or something?
No.
Have you ever seen those? They're pretty good. You can fall down that YouTube hole at some point. I kept these 2 things up here because it was interesting. Did you see the Conor McGregor Heat mascot thing?
Yes.
Which, by the way, okay, so just to backtrack, it was announced a couple days before how much the Nuggets mascot makes. Did you see this?
No, I didn't.
The Denver Nuggets mascot. Do you want to guess how much he makes annually?
What is the Denver Nuggets?
Rocky. It's like a cougar. It's like a puma.
It's like a puma.
It's like a puma.
He's got to make 7 figures.
He does make seven.
No,
he doesn't make 7 figures.
He doesn't?
I lied. No, I believe the number was 625,000.
Oh, okay.
Which now he's doing some like high wire stuff.
Well, he does events. Like he gets hired out by Denver companies to show.
But the Denver mascot, he is known, like, he falls from the ceiling of the arena. He has jumped through like burning hoops. Like, he is one of the more legitimate mascots.
Okay.
In professional sports.
Okay.
650,000. So then the question became, how much would you be willing to get punched by Conor McGregor? Because if you're a professional mascot, the answer is $650,000 is what you are getting paid to be punched by Conor McGregor.
Well, I read this.
For $650,000, would you let Conor McGregor come in here and punch you?
One time.
Well, he did it twice. He hit him in the mascot costume, like in the chest, and then when he was down on the ground, he came over the top and hit him once in the costume mask, like the costume head of the mascot. So for those who don't know, the mascot had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I think if you got to wear the mascot costume,
yeah,
I think
you would do it for $650,000.
$650,000. I think you would.
I can tell you, I've only been hit, like truly hit, twice in my life, like really, like.
And you made no money for it.
And hit, and I will tell you, I'm in no hurry to ever feel like that again.
No, I saw this story about at Disney where the I don't know what the characters in the full costumes get beat up a lot.
Yeah.
Because people they just think it's a big stuffed animal. And even though they realize that there's got to be a person in there,
right?
Mentally, they just think it's so. And the people in those costumes are little people. They're not like It's not like some dude that's
No,
225 pounds.
It makes
It's a
perfect sense.
105-pound girl in the Snow White costume, and then
someone hits it,
and then there's damage.
I don't know if you saw. There's video and photos going around that LeBron James had a stunt double for Space Jam, which is just another reason to just
Wait, what?
He had a stunt double for Space Jam, which is just another reason to not like LeBron James.
Okay, first of all, I like LeBron James. Second of all,
I do too.
I only saw half of the movie, maybe, and I did not think it was very.
I did not enjoy it. I'm with you.
I wanted to. I really wanted to. When I first saw it, I thought this is kind of a cheap. They're going to make money out of it, and they probably did make money.
Yeah,
but
no,
I mean, the first one was just so.
It was
I don't want to say perfect.
It was an impossible task.
The first one was so good.
It's not even LeBron James' fault. It was an impossible task to try to do it. Just to keep us moving. Trump, the indictment. Yep. Have you kept up with it at all?
I mean,
the timing feels this is what I'll say. I think all of us already. Anybody who, again, I've said this before. Anybody who is surprised at what they are finding out, I can't help you. I don't know what to tell you. I knew, if you didn't know that he had things he shouldn't have. I don't know. I can't help you.
Yeah, no.
Didn't we all assume that?
I mean, I don't think people care.
No, we're finding random stuff in the last 4 presidents, garages, houses, beach houses. The idea that Donald Trump didn't have something he shouldn't have is absurd. Of course, he had something he shouldn't have.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
And the timing of it. I think they're coming after him. Fox went after him yesterday too. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I saw Fox that they sent a cease and desist to Tucker Carlson because apparently they fired him.
Yeah.
He started doing a podcast on Twitter, and they said that's a breach of your contract, which I'm not sure that's a breach of his contract when he was fired.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fox is not.
Fox went after him a little bit. I think Fox and some Murdoch and Blackstone and some of these people, I think the fun with Trump is up for them. I don't think they want Trump to get elected. The powers that be. I think they have reached they feel like they can't control him anymore. And I feel like they think this has gone beyond its point.
Well, and the political reality of it is he would be elected as a lame duck. And that just doesn't happen in our political system. Mm-hmm. And he carried so much clout through the first one. Every first-term president carries clout because the people don't, especially his party in Congress, doesn't want to go against him because it's usually incumbents win again and they don't want to piss off their party.
Have you seen, as of right now, it's been leaking that they don't think he'll debate.
Trump?
Yes.
He doesn't really have a lot to gain.
No,
he's winning by so much.
But there is, from a theatrical standpoint, I think he has way more to gain than anybody else. Maybe not. Like you said, if he believes he's as far ahead as they think he is.
He looks like he's way far ahead.
I don't know. There's some Reddit stuff here. The Epstein thing. I don't know if you've seen the Epstein thing. Have you seen this at all?
I have not.
Super, super big payout. So essentially, JP Morgan, they are paying out a $290 million settlement to sex trafficking victims for Jeffrey Epstein.
Wait, say that number again?
$290 million in payouts to basically just trying to keep it from getting out, from trying to keep people from talking. $290 million.
And we have seen the list of people that went.
We've seen the list. We have seen who's been. Some of the list is shocking because you have the Clintons and the Gates and the ones everyone heard. But there's some stuff like Chris Tucker. There's some musicians and athletes.
Just at the basketball game, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
I just saw Chris Tucker.
Yeah, there's some names on there that don't make a ton of sense. Some of the Gates stuff has been coming out more and more now. I just think it's a fascinating thing that I think we're never going to get answers to.
No,
I think they're just going to keep throwing money. If they're going to throw $290 million at it, I think we're just scratching the surface. I think it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar settlement when it's all said and done, just to keep it all under wraps,
to keep people protected.
First of all, Gates alone. Gates will spend $1 billion on this by himself, just by himself. Bill Gates,
if he feels he needs to.
I think he already has. I think he's already begun. I think he's already begun.
Crazy. That is crazy.
I mean, it's going to be a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit to keep Jeffrey Epstein out of the news cycle. Really, really fascinating.
It's shocking too because he's been dead for a while.
But I think that's how entangled it all is.
Oh no, I know. But usually,
did you see the
usually to
island
keep
sold?
dead people out of the news cycle, isn't it?
Well, that's true too. Did you see the island sold?
Hmm.
Somebody bought it and they are making it like a full-fledged, not facility, what's the word, like resort.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like actually. Now here's the thing: they bought low, obviously, because no one who was going to pay top dollar for Jeffrey Epstein's island and what came along with it. So they came in, bought in low through a resort. Somebody's going to make a lot of money off of it.
Is it an adults-only resort?
It's a good question. Unfortunately, Epstein's wasn't.
Was
that a bad joke? That too? Was that a bad joke?
After I said it, I thought that's probably
Unfortunately.
that. No, that was good. Very clever.
Thank you.
Very clever.
Anything else off the top of your head? We just wanted to jump back on today, get back in.
NBA Finals tonight, NHL Finals tomorrow night. Both have 3-1. For those, Brett and I were just talking about Brett Crosley, our crime sports guy. We were just talking about this the other day. If you're not a fan of any teams that are in the finals, you always want a Game 7 because it's so much fun. And just as a neutral fan, I don't even think we're going to get a Game 6 in either of them. Denver's going home. Vegas is going home. A title in Vegas would be an interesting place to be because Vegas is a kind of lively to begin with.
It is.
And they're up 3-1. They're going home. And if they win Game 5 Tuesday, it would be a little like, again, it's not like it's quiet on Tuesday nights in Vegas, but it could be a little raucous.
I'm always fascinated when newer franchises win championships because there is something to it where the other franchises look and go like that wasn't earned, but yet it's still a championship. You know,
yeah,
like it's still
they really gave Vegas. Vegas was in the Cup Finals like their second year in existence.
Yeah,
they really got a sweetheart deal to come in and to purge players from other teams and all that stuff. And because in the NFL, I remember when Jacksonville and Carolina came in and they couldn't beat each other. Like they were awful for a couple years until it got going. So yes, there must be a little bit of jealousy from some of these other ones, but no, I'm just thinking. And Denver's been around 45 years in the NBA. They were an ABA team.
They were
right?
an ABA team.
And just the first trip.
Kiki Vandeweghe.
He was a Notre Dame kid, wasn't he?
They are saying Tyler Hero could make his return tonight for Game 5.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't make a difference.
No, it's and it'll be fun. So happy for Denver. The people will be stoned before the game. They'll be stoned after the game. You know, it is what it is.
In Denver? Is that what they do in Denver?
Apparently. And so I think all sports will be over except for baseball until. Oh, did you see the golf?
Yeah, about the
72-foot putt.
Oh no, I did not. I thought you were talking about the PGA and
no. Okay, so yesterday was the Canadian Open.
Okay,
a Canadian won it for the first time in 60 years, a really long time.
Okay.
He was at the tee box. I watched maybe 3 holes of it. But he was at the tee box, and the crowd around him was singing the Canadian national anthem. And he waited until they were done before he teed off. Yeah. And they sang the whole thing.
Yeah. He
was in first, and he lost the lead, then he tied. He was in a playoff, and on the I think it was the last hole. It was a 4-hole playoff, and on the last hole, he drained a 72-foot putt, the longest putt of his professional career for him to win. And it was the Canadian winning the Canadian Open. So it was very, very cool.
Yeah.
So just find that. Just Google like Canadian Open putt, and the commentators were like, it's good. It's good speed. It's looking good. And all of a sudden it's in. And it was, I don't know. I'd have been a little more excited.
Did they say it was good speed, eh?
Good speed, eh? Hey, you hoser.
There's a couple of golf things. Did you see the guy who plays too slow?
I've been behind him.
Well, there you go. So one of the professional golfers on the tour who's playing very well because he keeps ending up in like the final day. He's like in these heats and he keeps ending up in front of like the last couple of pairs, and he golfs so slow that other players on the tour are basically kind of like, this is absurd. So apparently I think it was this weekend or the weekend before, was Koepka one of the last two?
Yeah, Koepka.
Okay. Koepka and the other guy, they spent almost an hour on tee boxes just waiting because this guy took so long to tee off and then play.
That's awesome.
So that whole aspect of it is really, really interesting. And then the Live Golf PGA thing is, I don't know if you've read into it or not, but it is really, really shiesty by the PGA.
See, on like, if you're over at White Deer or, you know, Turbot Hills or something like that, which I know it's not called Turbot Hills anymore, but it always will be to me.
Right.
If somebody in front of you is playing too slow, every now and then you just fire one at them, and it kind of gives them, it's like hitting the horn on the car, like, hey, you might want to go a little faster. Now, sometimes if you piss them off, they'll turn around and fire right back at you. Oh. But it gets the message across. But yeah, that is the thing I love about playing golf is when you get behind that guy who's waiting and waiting. They're waiting for someone to clear the green. Yeah. And you're behind me, like, dude, you can't hit it that far. And maybe 20 years ago you could hit it that far. Right. And they wait and they wait, and then they top it like 40 yards down the fairway, and you're just like, just hit the freaking ball. Because there is that. I've always believed, especially as hackers on a public course, if you hit the shot of your life and it rolls up on the green while someone's putting, you just wave and apologize and just say, you know, sorry. Now, if you can't be firing it at them, because that could be, but this whole just watching, I've stood behind 100 people who I'm just like, you can't hit that far. You can't possibly hit it that far. And then they don't. And you're just like,
I would not like golfing with you.
What?
I think, are you a calm golfer? I don't feel like you're a calm golfer.
What do you expect? You think I'm yelling and screaming?
Yeah, kind of. Oh my God. No? Is that not what happens?
I mean, when there's a bad shot off the tee, there's profanity, but I'm not like a club thrower. The last thing I want to do is break my club. So no, I'm not. There's a lot of profanity, but it's not like an angry, no, I'm good.
I don't buy it. What? I don't buy it.
Yeah, because I'm really high intensity, angry type guy.
Soapbox derby races in Waysport. Did you do soapbox derby when you were a kid?
No.
I never did them. My cousins did them. Bogue, if you're on here, they talk about soapbox derby. He did soapbox derby. I always reminds me of the beginning of Cool Runnings when they push car derby. You don't remember that? Seika, and he goes to push car derby down the thing.
I didn't make the connection until just now, but
it just goes to show that like that culture, everything is cooler in that culture. Like soapbox derby or push car derby. Push car derby is so much cooler than soapbox derby. Is it not?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Think so?
Have you been to Jamaica?
Once. You know what? I had a really bad experience. I was younger. And we went to a very touristy part. We got off a boat, went to a very touristy part, and it was just overwhelming. And it was one of my first experiences being around kind of depravity. Like it was not a great experience for me. Other people have had much better experiences in Jamaica than I did.
I will say that. I've only been there once. When you're on the resort, it's nice. It's relaxing. It's the water's blue. It's the bluest ocean water I've ever seen. The beaches, the pool is great, like all that stuff. But you're right. Getting from the airport to the resort and back, and you see what real poverty is, what like national poverty is. And it is, it's a little bit hard to think like what these people have, and I'm going 10 miles down the road into what they're providing for the tourists. Mm-hmm. And then you see what the people have. And the workers that work there, I remember the one girl told us they work 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. But nobody gives up these jobs because it's the best job you can get. And, yeah, it is. If you are like societally in tune or humble or aware, I guess, trips like that are tough.
It can be, especially for me. Like it was the first time I noticed some of those things, and so yeah. But I would gladly go back. My favorite's St. Thomas. I've been to St. Thomas twice. If you've never been to St. Thomas, best part about St. Thomas is if you're somebody who wants to go somewhere for the culture, don't go to St. Thomas. But if you're somebody who wants like simplicity, St. Thomas accepts the American dollar. It's all American currency, and then St. Thomas is almost entirely American speaking, English speaking.
Oh, Jamaica, they speak English.
So, well, yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jamaica, man.
So I can't hide if you're looking for ease of access. St. Thomas is the way to go.
And I don't know why this is my favorite story because we hiked. People have been there. We hiked the Dunn's River Falls, and that was cool.
Okay.
We were going to go to where Bob Marley was born, but we didn't. I don't know. But I remember asking the one guy because the weather was the same every day. It was almost like being indoors.
Mm-hmm.
It was 85 degrees and comfortable because there's an ocean breeze and every day. And I remember we're in line for food one day, and I said to the guy, "Does it ever get colder than this?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, man, it gets cold." And I said, like 75? No, man, maybe 80. And I was like, "Oh, that's rough."
80s are
When
80s are
when it gets all the way down to 80.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
But yeah, it is poor. When you go to those places, they're poorer than you expect.
Graduations?
I went.
You went to graduation?
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like my generation, I mean, yours did obviously too. I'm assuming yours did. I feel like my generation missed out on decorating the cap.
Yes.
I feel like we
did that first.
Yes. I feel like we completely missed out on that.
Well, actually, when I think about it, a buddy of mine did because his sister did it for him because his sister was artistic. But yeah, I didn't. We weren't allowed to throw our caps
at the end of it.
Yeah, because of they were afraid people were getting hurt because of, I guess people had gotten hurt because we were told. And I was sitting with a guy who had graduated with my brother just a couple years before me. And he's like, we were warned. It was basically, if you throw your hat, you will go right to prison. And because now the kid, they do and they have, and we weren't. I don't think we
graduating from high school and the first
just
thing,
being carted off.
First thing that happens is you get carted off.
That kid is like, there's no way. And all of a sudden he's cuffed. Yeah, it rained for Montoursville Williamsworth was on Thursday, and it hadn't rained in 2 months, and it rained enough that umbrellas came out off and on. It didn't rain hard, but
and then you survived the smoke.
Yeah, the smoke was nuts.
It was really crazy.
It was It's just
Did you notice anything at your house or when you were traveling? I noticed on my vehicle. Well, see, here's two things. So the first day, we came walking out of Sam's Club, and I kid you not, you could see bits of ash coming out of the sky. That was the first time.
Okay, I never saw that.
You never saw it. That was pretty wild. You could literally see little bits of ashes floating in front of you. And then the second thing was on my car the one morning. You could there was a film. It was pretty nuts.
If you would have thought, what year, 5 years ago, that we would have, the whole world shut down because of a global pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that we're through that there would be a day that they're canceling, outdoor events and sporting events and telling people, I know schools, elementary schools and stuff that were still in session.
Yeah. That
were supposed to have, at this point of the year, they were just outside all day and they're doing games and stuff like that. And they weren't allowed to do it, or they did it for 10 minutes. And to think that they would be canceling events because of air quality.
Okay. That
you'd have just been like, there's no way.
Bogue says, I think there's too much ego up here for just one screen.
When he was added, or was he saying?
No, I think he's saying our heads are too big. Is what he's.
Well, I will say when we started, and Jeff was like, "Well, the names are backwards," and I said, "Do you just want to switch chairs?" And Jeff's like, "No, I feel good where I'm at," because he wants to be on. You've never looked this smart before.
This smart before.
Because people are they're tuning in. They're like, "Oh, he must be Mark Messina," because that's on the thing.
You said I don't look smart because I have a round face, and so I look.
No,
I
did
look
not
jovial.
Say that. You do look jovial.
You said I
but
look
I
jovial
would say that.
Instead of smart.
I say that you are smarter than you look.
Heather in the Midwest.
Yep.
She's back. Good to see you, Heather.
I wonder if they have smoke.
They probably don't. I'm guessing. Maybe they did though, because it kind of went over. I know there was for a while there. Michigan had some issues, and then I know Ohio, Indiana was dealing with some stuff. So maybe,
It probably couldn't have got much beyond the Great Lakes. Would be my guess.
All right, you get one last thing to say because we're almost at the half hour point.
We've been that long.
What's the last thing you want to say? I had on as I was doing work this weekend. This is mine. I rewatched Spotlight. I think,
what an unbelievable!
I think it gets better every single time I watch it.
It's funny. I watched What's Love Got to Do with It again last night.
Okay.
The teen. Have you ever seen the Tina Turner?
I have not.
With not Samuel L. Jackson.
Doesn't matter.
No, it was Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
Or was it Lawrence Fishburne?
Doesn't matter.
I'm trying
What's
to remember.
love got to do with it?
The thing that it's the Tina Turner movie
Okay.
about Tina Turner's life and based off her book. And
did you put this on because of what just happened?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
I own it, and I saw it before because I saw it way back when it came out.
Okay.
And then one time I was somewhere and I could buy it for $1, and I thought, oh, this is a good movie, and I should watch it again. One of the things that gets lost in it is, historically, I remember, I think it was Chris Rock. Somebody had the joke that when all the O.J. Simpson stuff came out, how abusive he'd been, that they're like the happiest person about this is Ike Turner, because now he's no longer the worst husband in America.
Okay.
And he is so universally renowned. There's something like this, just shows you how crazy people are. He was married like 14 times.
Okay.
So he found, now Tina wasn't his first, but he found multiple other women who were still willing to marry him.
Okay.
But musically, as we talk about the Michael Jacksons and the R. Kellys and he is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He is partially credited with having the first rock song. It was about a car. It was called something Rocket something. But like even after all this stuff that he was so abusive, he was winning Grammy Awards with like blues albums in the 90s and early 2000s. So even though he was a horrible person, for his talent, he was very talented, which is because like this is when I watch movies about real events or real people. While it's going on, I get on the internet and I start reading the stuff that you're not going to see in the movie. Because one of the things I Googled was Ike Turner defenders, because I wanted to hear, does anyone defend him and say like he was not this bad? And there weren't really very many, but there were those that talked about like, it'd be like Michael Jackson, because obviously he's got the scandals against him, but he didn't live long enough. Or speaking of people who may have paid people off to make scandals go away, then there's Michael. I don't
know what this says about me. I have almost like no issue listening to Michael Jackson or R. Kelly. Like when one of their songs comes on, I feel very little guilt playing the song, or listening to the song, or singing the song.
I'm probably in the same boat, and I'm not sure what that says, but there's so many, I don't know. If I don't know what movies Harvey Weinstein made and which ones he didn't, but did he make Good Will Hunting?
He probably financed them.
If you like, Good Will Hunting's my favorite movie, and if Harvey Weinstein was involved in it, it's still my favorite movie because of the story that it tells, and it's the whole love the art, hate the artist. I don't know. Should no one listen to Michael Jackson anymore?
I've been listening. I missed the memo. If that were the case,
it's a fascinating question, because I know, like, obviously there were people who stopped going to Chick-fil-A because of their
beliefs.
Yes, and there are people that will stop supporting or stop watching movies, or
I guess
it's yes. Do you have to Kevin Spacey? Do you not watch Kevin Spacey movies anymore?
I do. I don't think I've ever made a choice in my life based off of like a cultural, what's the word I'm looking for?
No, I know what you mean.
Like I've never decided to go or not go to a movie, or listen or not listen to a song, or eat or not eat at a place because of a cultural thing or a societal thing that has been deemed wrong or right. Ever.
No, I know what you mean.
I've just never been one of those people that makes those decisions off of that.
I will say, as a guy who's a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan, when Dallas signed Greg Hardy, it was hard to root for him. And because he was in Carolina, he had, if you Google Greg Hardy, like he was Ike Turner in just the modern era and he was released by the Panthers, and the Cowboys picked him up, and they did one of these, like, he's going to be a reclamation project, and we're helping him turn his life around because he was a great player.
Right.
But it was one of those, he's defensive end, and when there was a sack And as a fan, you'd be like, yes. And then they got off the pile and it was hard, and you're like, you felt a little dirty about it. So, but there is that.
But have you ever been someone that's like, we're not doing X because this happened? Like, I don't think I've ever gone out of my way to either because of good or because of bad to do or not do something.
I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't know. I would have to think of an example.
Because here's my issue. And by the way, anybody, like all the social media fighters and stuff like that, like more power to you. Like keep fight. Like if you're one of those people that like post things and you're fighting for rights and social issues, by all means, knock yourself out. My issue though is like, if you own, like this is a bad example, but if you own
that's what we want.
Like,
bad example.
Exactly. If you own an iPhone, like you realize what you have decided to promote by owning an iPhone. If you're going to act like all your other decisions say you promote or don't promote something. So if you say, if I buy a Chick-fil-A sandwich, I am promoting what they believe is right, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it the same then when you buy your phone and you know the minds and the places, like the people who had to die and struggle to make sure that you had the right battery for your phone? Like, what is the difference? Isn't there, like, to me, there's like a huge hypocrisy in that. And so I just don't make any decisions based off of
There is a lot of intertangledness, yes. And
like anybody who says I will not get a Chick-fil-A sandwich and you own an iPhone, I don't understand the two. Like I can't align the two.
Well, I mean, I get your point. People have to pick their battles, and they do pick their battles,
and like I said at the beginning, like by all means, like knock yourself out. I'm just saying I don't understand. Like I can't logically make the connection how one is a deeper or more meaningful than the other. I don't see how me buying a chicken sandwich is more detrimental than them owning an iPhone when you look at how both are made and what they believe are right. And,
right. No, I get it. But I think when you get back to the art of it, there's like, are you the person doing the heinous act? Are you in some way supporting the heinous act, but playing Billie Jean on your phone?
So you do or you do or you don't still have your Greg Hardy jersey?
I never had a Greg, and I was not happy when we signed him.
That's like imagine being a Cleveland Brown fan after the Deshaun Watson thing.
He has still never been charged.
I know. It's crazy.
There's a lot, but yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've listened to Billie Jean.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one. It would be interesting to talk to a Cleveland Browns fan about how they wrap their head around that,
deal with it.
Yeah.
There are some people have made their stances on players in the past, and the musical. I wonder how many people. That would be a good Google search. How many people have stopped listening to Michael Jackson or R. Kelly's? I Believe I Can Fly, right?
R. Kelly's got a bunch of them. I Can Fly is one of many. His biggest one is Ignition Remix. I mean,
no. His biggest one is I Believe I Can Fly.
No, his biggest one is Ignition Remix.
I don't know. So
you do, but you do. It's probably on the Rolling Stone list that you pulled up when you wanted to hit yourself over the head with a rock.
When we went to the Toursville State playoff game on Thursday, my daughter pulled out a list, and I was so repulsed by. I was going to come in and tell you some of these choices. It had.
What is this?
Well, I will give you one. The top, however many Disney songs of all time.
I saw this. This is so bad. So bad. We should bring. This was your daughter?
Yeah.
We should have her come on one day, and her and I can tell everybody how awful this is. You don't like Disney.
I like Disney just fine.
No, you don't like Disney.
So do you remember what was it? Rolling Stone?
I don't remember.
I think it was Rolling Stone.
I don't remember who wrote the list, but the list is absolutely atrocious.
Do you remember what was number one?
Bad.
Well, first of all, number one.
It's a Small World.
No. It wasn't on this list.
Okay, well, either way, It's a Small World shouldn't be in the top 100.
Oh my gosh! Oh, you're crazy. It's a Small World is iconic.
You get in the car. You get in the car, or you go about your life, and you hope you hear It's a Small World.
No, but it is still iconic. What was the one? When You Wish Upon a Star. When You Wish Upon was number 3.
Yeah,
that's the number one Disney song of all time.
What are you defining like the number one Disney song? Like,
Because
what are you just saying
most iconic?
Okay, so if you're saying iconic, like the thing people know the most, then what you would say is like the Rolling Stone list, like you would have the most generic song ever as number one.
No.
Okay, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You can't say the Disney list like, well, it's the most iconic, because if you just went through normal music and you said the most iconic, Happy Birthday would be like number 6. Like you can't do that.
Happy Birthday is an iconic song.
Yeah, okay, but would you put it number 6
do you remember
on the
which
Rolling
one had
Stone
it number
list?
one?
What?
Do you remember which one had it number one?
The sentence you're saying right now, I don't know if it's making sense.
No, the one on the list. Oh, you saw a different list than I did.
For the Rolling Stone thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were reading
the number one Disney song. It was the one from The Little Mermaid.
Part of This World.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that is not the number one Disney song of all time.
It's better than Wish Upon a Star.
Not.
And it's higher than
Lion King
World.
didn't have one in the top 10.
Uh-huh.
And Part of Your World, stop it. Now it did have Frozen was 2. And that song is unbelievably good. And I will give it that. And that
I can't. I don't know what to do with you right now. So you're justifying "Let It Go" by Frozen.
Let It Go is such a good song.
But it's
such
okay.
a good song.
But to say
it's
such
better
a good
than
song, there's 50 songs that are such a good song. That's why you make a list.
And it was
to be such a good song isn't good enough for second place. You can't be such a good song and be second place. That's the reason you make the list. You're making the list so that you can put the such a good song at like number 20 because you know there's songs that are better than such a good song.
I don't know. The list sucked, and
it was bad.
When You Wish Upon a Star is the number one Disney song of all time. That's why it opened the Wonderful World of Disney. Like for all these years on network television, it was the theme song.
Tell your daughter I agree with her. It was very, very brutal. Maybe tomorrow, maybe we could talk about the dead name stuff. Remember, we were going to talk about the dead name stuff. That conversation.
Yes.
Maybe that would be a fun one for like 20 minutes tomorrow to chit chat
about. Yeah, kind of the changing world.
Because we have a little varying opinion on it. That would be good for debate.
No, it is. It's when we were kids, I assume when you were a kid, they passed the sheet around.
Yeah.
And they said, how do you want your name read at grad? Because you might have wanted Jeff instead of Jeffrey because you're like, I've never gone by Jeffrey. So I just want, and we just wrote down what we wanted said and they said it.
Sure.
And now in the changing world of society, apparently it's not that easy.
Right. So we should talk about it tomorrow.
Let's talk about it tomorrow.
Okay. We'll talk about it tomorrow. If you want to, our very own here at NorthcentralPa.com, Ashley Little wrote a really good piece about it. Area students challenge use of dead names at graduation. So if you want to be up to date with kind of our debate and what we're going to talk about tomorrow, be sure to check that out. Area students challenge use of dead names at graduation. I thought Ashley did a really nice job with it. And we're not like super opposed on it, but we are on different sides of the street on some of the aspects of it.
Surprisingly, I am on the right side of the street. You're on the wrong side of the street.
Why can't it be the left side? Why does it have to be the wrong side?
I'm on the correct side of the street. You are on the incorrect. No, it's interesting because depending on what position, and I do get it, but we do disagree. And that's what's cool about it.
Anything else? I'm not even going to give you the opportunity. Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show. Be sure to go to NorthcentralPa.com for all of your local news.
I want to hear Denver by how many tonight? Is it close or is it blowout?
I think it's over. I think Denver. I think
double digits.
I think
it's not a nail biter.
I think. Well, yeah, no. Miami's frisky. They're going to try. I just think Denver's so much better. This was kind of one of those weird things where, like, I'm excited because I was right because I was telling friends like early.
But you don't want it to be over.
But I don't want it to be over. But also too, like it wasn't exciting to have Denver be better than everybody else. I just kind of knew Denver was better than everybody else. But who watches Denver? Like nobody watches Denver. So I'm like, it's like April and I'm telling everybody like, listen, like this is Denver's, they're going to roll through this. Like it's not, and they kind of did. They're really good. Really, really good.
Yeah. I can't imagine that it's close.
No. Thank you guys for watching the Midday Show. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to talk about some dead naming issues and we're going to try to keep this rolling a little bit.
See ya.
See ya.